Hi everyone, so welcome to this video going through some tips and tricks on the calculators, particularly the Casios that are going to be really useful in the exam. So here we've got a question from the exam. It's a unique one, but it's in the style of an Edexcel question, and it's asking us to complete the table of values, then use that table of values to draw the graph, and then we've got a bit to do as a follow-up as well. Now, the good thing about the calculator is essentially it's going to fill in this table for us. And there are huge benefits to doing that. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go onto the table function. Now this is the Casio 82 or 83 FX class whiz, but it is the same on the 991 class whiz as well. So if we go across to table, we get a blank table. It has various things in it. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to go and define the table range. Okay, so we click on the table range. The table range really is just what we go from and to. So the start is -3. Okay, and then the end is 3. And then the step is just saying that we want everything in between going up in ones across. Okay, so step is already set to 1. We go down and execute. There we go. It fills in the x values. It's a vertical table rather than a horizontal, but that obviously doesn't matter. But if you go down, we can see we've got all of that x values. Okay, but we want the y values. So we're going to define f of x. Start there. Click there. Again, f of x. Now this calculator is great. It has an x button already when we want to put in this formula, this equation. So x squared minus 2x take 3. Okay, so that's exactly what we've got up there. Execute, and then it fills in the corresponding f of x value, which is our y value. So when x is -3, f is 12, and we'll fill that in. When x is -2, f is 5, f of x is 5. And then we've got -1 is 0, and that's already in here, so we can check that. Let's just rewrite that. So that is a check that, if that was different, then we've done it wrong, but being the same, it's almost a guarantee we've got this right. Okay, and then 1 is -4, obviously being careful to correctly do it, and 2 is -3, again, that's already filled in for us, that's a double check, and then 3 is 0. Okay, now because I created this question, the grid and axis isn't quite right. So the first one, -3, 12, is not actually on here. It would be up here somewhere, but we just won't plot that one. Okay, so this is part B. We're going to draw the graphs. We're just plotting these points. So x is -2, y is 5. Got one there. X is -1, y is 0. So that's on the axis. And then when x is 0, y is -3. When x is 1, y is -4. X is 2, y is -3, so we're going back up now. And then when x is 3, y is 0. Okay, so that's going to be one of the 2 marks. We've already gained the 2 marks for the table. Now the second is to join these up with a smooth curve. As smooth as you can do. It's fairly difficult on the computer to do this. Okay, but that would get you the marks. That's smooth enough. Just a couple of pointers. This one's quite a good one. We have a point that's right at the minimum point there. Sometimes you get it where you get a quadratic and you plot sort of these points like this. Now you have to be careful when you draw the curve to go below those 2 points, because the minimum point should be lower, and not to flatten it out at the bottom, which I nearly did then. So if you flatten it out, you do lose a mark. Okay, so a nice smooth curve. You don't have to be perfect on the points, but getting that bottom bit to be a curve that goes below those 2 is important, if that happens. In this case, it didn't happen anyway. We had a point at the bottom. Okay, so we're now on 4 marks. We've got part A, part B done. The calculator did part A for us, essentially. Then it says use your graph to find estimates for the solutions to this equation. Now this equation can be thought of as where these two equations cross. Because essentially what we would do if we were solving these as simultaneous equations, we would put this equal to 1 to get rid of y, and that would be this here. So we need to draw then, if the solutions to this are where they cross, we need to draw a graph y equals 1. So y equals 1 is a horizontal line that goes through 1 on the y-axis. Okay, the reason for that is essentially along that line, well that's not very straight, along that line is all the points whose y-coordinate is 1. And that's essentially what that's saying. And then to find the answers, we go down from there to find an x value. So straight down, they're pretty generous with the range that they give, that they allow. I haven't got space for it, but there should be a space on the answer line. So x will be equal to, that was just below -1, so -1.4 will do, or x is equal to positive, I don't know, 3.2. And that will get you the full marks. You can, in this calculator, also solve simultaneous equations, but it won't do quadratic ones, so it wouldn't do this. Okay, thank you for watching.